Thank you, Mr. DeHart. Item number 3, matter pertaining to American Petroleum Institute Awards and the President Award for Excellence in Maintenance and Science Teaching, Informational Mathematics. Okay, mathematics, I'm sorry. Oh, my eyes are blurry. Nathan Cotton, please. I'm sorry. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Good evening. Tonight I have the pleasure of introducing Miss Jean May Brett to present our teachers with awards from the American Petroleum Institute Delta Chapter and Presidential Award for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching. Ms. May Brett has been an educator, leader, mentor, and champion for science and math education for over 50 years. Before her retirement from the Louisiana Department of Education, Ms. May Brett served as the director of the Math Science Partnership Program and STEM Partnership Coordinator. I use the term retire loosely because she still serves as an advisor to a number of agencies, foundations, organizations that are committed to science and/or science education. A current officer for both the Louisiana Science Teachers Association and the Louisiana Association of Teachers of Mathematics, as well as a coordinator for the teacher awards being given tonight. I welcome Ms. Jean May Brett.
Thank you, Nathan. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's a great pleasure for me to represent the American Petroleum Institute Delta Chapter. American Petroleum Institute has been giving teacher awards since 1989, and we are delighted to honor teachers who have always gone above and beyond in the work that they do. As you know, teachers are critical to the success of your school district. Even more, they are the people who feel the needs and help the children of your district as they reach for success. The American Petroleum Institute is honoring 12 teachers this year. 2 of them come from Terrebonne Parish. One of them, the first I'll introduce, is Miss Brittany Champagne. Brittany is a person who has been recognized for a number of very successful things in her teaching. And for me, it's a fact that you have someone at the 3rd grade level who's been taking part in STEM nights. So Brittany, if I would ask you to come forward, and Superintendent Ogeron, if you would like to come down, and of course, Madam President, if you would join us in making the presentation also. It is with great honor I am giving her a check for $250 along with the certificate. I am well aware that successful teaching takes a great support system, so thank you for what you do to help her. The second award that I'm giving and making a presentation of goes to Jennifer Hopkins, an advanced math teacher, and in reading her essay, we could feel the passion that she had for teaching and congratulate her for her work with Girls Who Code. So this evening, $500 and the certificate to Jennifer Hopkins. Congratulations. Certainly a great deal could be said about each of these teachers, the work they've done, the years they've put in, the students that they have worked with. I'm also very honored to serve as the co-chair for the Presidential Awards for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching in Louisiana. Each year, the state is able to send forward 3 names in math and 3 names in science as state finalists. There have been previous winners from Terrebonne Parish as the actual presidential awardees. We will certainly hope the same is true of this state finalist. So at this time, we recognize Beth Olivier of Mulberry for her work as a teacher who has now been recognized as a 2024 state finalist for the Presidential Awards in Excellence for Mathematics and Science Teaching. Beth?
Bubba, you have the award.
Each of these teachers were nominated for their awards and then have to go through a process of application by completing essays and in some cases videos that are then reviewed and scored by panels. In the case of American Petroleum Institute, it is actually a set of our board members who review and score those. In the case of presidential awardees, they are actually reviewed by previous awardees, members of the Louisiana Department of Education, and people from business and industry. Thank you for the opportunity to recognize your teachers this evening.
Thank you, ma'am.
And we also thank API for all the awards that were given tonight. We appreciate that. And wish Beth good luck in the state competition, and also congratulations to Brittany and Jennifer for tonight's awards. Next on the agenda is the matter pertaining to the Virtual Academy for 24-25, which I'm excited to hear about. So, Ms. LaRose, do you have something to share with us?
Ms. Benoit, just to add to what you said to the previous item, we couldn't ask for or get 3 better teachers than that. Beyond this award, they are phenomenal for kids. So just wanted to kind of point that out. They're just really exceptional. So.
And you would know as a science teacher, right?
Yeah, yes, and not only science, but ELA as well, right,
Yeah.
Brittany? Yeah.
Yeah.
They do other coursework too. Really, really good.
Yeah. Thank you. Ms. LaRose?
Okay, following those 3 educators isn't an easy thing. We are proud to let you all know what we have been working on for our virtual academy that we would like to start for next year. We have our registration that is going to start this coming Monday, and it will go through the following Monday. And it is going to be a very unique program because our kids are still going to be tied to their base schools. They're going to be able to participate in all of the sports and all of the clubs that are going to be going on in their high schools. They're going to be doing Edgenuity courses, which is going to be online. And we have also purchased a package for on-demand tutoring so that they can, at any point in time, get help from a teacher who is certified in the area, whether it's biology or whether it's calculus. They'll be able to get assistance in that subject. We did all of our virtual teacher interviews, and we have hired Ms. Delicia Calloway, who has been instrumental in working with Edgenuity already in our district, so she's very familiar with that platform. I'd like to thank Mr. Dillard, and I don't know if Tricia Corbin is here tonight, but they have worked tirelessly. We're treating it as a new school. We have a virtual academy handbook that we have been putting together. We have frequently asked questions that we've been putting together. All of these documents so that we can share it with parents. We're going to also have, before school starts, we're going to have an open house type for parents to come and to say, okay, these are my questions, this is your responsibilities, this is what it's gonna look like on the children's part, this is what we need you to do as parents to support these children. This year, we are going to accept 30 students from grades 9 to 12. We are hoping that in the future that can grow. Those 30 students will be serviced by the one teacher. And those 30 students are going to be TOPS University students for this year. There are not enough Jump Start credentials that are available through Edgenuity at this point. They're growing and they're putting more in there, but there's not enough to offer the program successfully to those students. So, do you all have any questions I figured you'd have, and Mr. Dillard said he'd be happy to answer questions also.
Yeah, I'm thrilled about this. I think
Good.
we should have done this years ago, and I'm excited that you and our superintendent has pushed through to get this going. I guess my first question would be, what is the criteria for accepting these students?
Okay, of course, they have to be in grades 9 to 12. They have to have had success. They cannot be failing courses in order to do this. Through COVID, with putting kids virtually, we saw what happened to many of our students. So it has to be independent learners. It has to be your kids who have shown that they can work independently at home. We also they have to have been in attendance at school. They can't have, all kind of attendance problems. So that is the first thing that we're looking for, and on the TOPS University
All right.
track.
So, I understand that criteria, but in other words, anybody can make the decision to try to go here. It's not, that they're having issues at school, not academic issues, but other issues at school that they feel like, having that sort of platform would be better for their,
We are going
situation.
to consult with principals and counselors. They are going to definitely be included in the selection process. And yes, we do have some children that we know are leaving our district because of whatever reasons, whether it's social anxiety or feelings of bullying or just not being able to fit in. And they're leaving to go to other virtual academies or homeschooling or whatnot. So this is an effort to offer this to our students who need this type of program.
And it'll be first come, first served based on the criteria that you.
It is not going to be first come, first served, because some of our parents may need a little longer to kind of examine things in the handbook and whatnot to see if this is going to be the appropriate thing that they feel is best for their child. It's going to be like anything else. You put your name in there, and then we're going to have a committee that's going to go through and look at the child, and we are going to rely very heavily on the counselors at the 4 high schools and the principals and the principals of the schools that they're coming from to say, yeah, this is a student who could potentially want to leave or not want to finish high school because they don't want to be in that setting.
So I remember when, after COVID, we had a lot of online learning, and then we went to a hybrid opportunity for some students, and that got us into situations where they wanted to try it, and then they wanted to back out of it after they tried it, and that was a real issue. So is there going to be sort of a commitment that these students are going to have to make once they sign up? They will have to stay virtual for the whole year?
We have in there that they're going to be able to go in and in the first couple of weeks decide after week 3 they are where they are. They have no choice unless they are kicked out of the program. And I say that roughly, but if they are not keeping up with their classwork, they are going to be going back to the school. And all of that is going to be in the paperwork that is signed by parents and students.
And then also, for those that might not stay, do you have a waiting list for others to get in, or is it too late to get in after the 3 weeks?
No, once we put the 30 people in, those are the 30 people for this year. If 2 or 3 leave, then we're going to go with the 27, 28, 29 kids.
All right. I'm sure we have questions, so I was going to go to our committee first. I see
Mr. Dillon,
Mr.
feel
Hart.
free to jump in, whatever you want to
Okay,
add
Mr.
to.
Harding's not here. Mr. DeHart, do you have any
No,
questions?
I'm learning as we all speak.
We really would have to stay here for probably 2 hours to tell you all of the details
Yeah.
of the program, because it, like I said, I mean, we have pages and pages of, but we just kind of wanted to give you the general idea of it. We can share the handbook. We
Yeah,
can
that would be
share all
great.
of this with you. I think you have a copy of the flyer.
We do.
And that's what we're gonna be putting out for them to enroll online.
Okay. All right.
And we're gonna send out J-calls to parents, we're gonna send out, messages on our website for the district and all of the high school and junior highs that,
Okay.
that would have kids that would
All
qualify.
right. If you just entertain us for a little bit, because I
We
think we
can-
do have
yes.
some questions
Okay.
here, but we don't want to go 2 hours for sure. Okay, Dr.
Just a couple
Kuchar.
of questions that I was wondering. The slots that you have, say 30 slots, are they divided up based on the number of schools, so many for this school, so many for that? Or are they just more focused on the students that apply?
More focus on the students that apply and making sure it's gonna be the best fit for the student in terms of them being offered everything they need for that particular year to keep up with their cohort and graduate on time. That's gonna be a big part of the selection process, make sure we have everything they need, and we offer everything they need so they can stay with their cohort and graduate on time.
Now, and like you already said, that there's a window of a few weeks, and after those couple of weeks, they're in the program. But if the next year comes around and they decide that they would like to go back to the classroom setting, they'd be able to go back at that time.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's the only question I had. Thank you very much. I think it's very exciting.
Dr. Trondheim.
Well, Ms. LaRose answered my question right after I raised my
Okay.
hand. I wanted to know how we're gonna make sure the public was notified, and you just said that.
Okay, Mr. Ford?
I don't really have questions, but I have comments, and considering this isn't going to committee or going to the board for approval, I will say this, I'm appreciative that you guys have put in the time and energy to create this. I think I may be wrong, and I kind of hope I am, but I think it's good in theory, but it's not going to be so great in practice. It's just one of those things, it's going to be a challenge on every end. And it's not because you guys aren't doing your due diligence, it's going to be because the public is going to see it as a sort of a scapegoat or a escape room at times, and I think your theory and what it should be is not that. So I'm concerned. And the thing that I'm really concerned about is, you know, giving a 1 week window to enroll is a great idea. Make sure the people are committed and the students know exactly what they're getting into. I just think down the line, it may turn into a situation where everyone's gonna have a hardship, everyone's gonna have an extenuating circumstance, and everyone's gonna be, you know, thinking their child deserves to go there or should go there. And, you know, long-term, I think that gets away from what we're in business of doing here, but I like the idea that it is an option for certain particular students that we choose to go through it. If we look at it as a cohort to say, hey, this is what we can do, you know, gathering data, top performers, getting students in there that are gonna excel, finish courses early, do extra enrichment, rigorous activities and to grow, that's a great idea. I just hope that that's what it stays as. I fear that, you know, the general direction that public education tends to go is in the opposite direction. And I don't wanna see that. So, good luck, you know, and if we can do anything to support it, please let us know immediately.
And maybe we should give a few more details, because the kids are going to be expected. It says in there 7 to 8 hours a day. This is not something to just let you, you know, run the streets or play all day or do whatever you want to. The teacher is going to be monitoring the hours that they spend each day. That teacher's sole responsibility is going to monitor the lessons that the children are doing, and to set goals with them, just like you would with any other program. They are going to have to go on site to take any assessment. Their schoolwork is gonna be done at home, their assessments are gonna be done with the teacher watching them with a schedule.
Thank you. You done? Mr. DeHart?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything until I heard some more discussion, but this here prompted what I'm gonna make a comment. Everybody, since I've served on this board, I've learned that everybody don't learn the same way. Options are very valuable for students, no matter what the circumstances are, to be able to have a good, positive education. So I really believe this is an option that right now, depending on what circumstances, and you got the rules in place, I think it's way better than what I'm gonna say to you, and I know I'm jumping way out to left field, better than somebody quitting, and I'm not saying homeschool can't work. All I'm saying to you that the opportunity is still there. The more options we offer, the better opportunity they have to be successful. And I'm very optimistic that this is a program that is gonna fit for some students, might not fit for all of them. I don't know of any program, whether it was Common Core, Eureka Math, anything, was for everybody. So all I'm saying is the more options students have and parents are aware of is the positive attitude to where they can be successful. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeHart. Mr. Crowdis?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the student number again, so that's going to be 30 students total between all 4 high schools?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Other question. We talked about the tutors. Are the tutors going to be separate from the schools? Are these tutors going to be already teaching in school, or are these going to be separate tutors, separate teachers? This is going to be its own entity,
Yes, sir.
separate from the
They are not Terrebonne Parish teachers.
Okay, all righty. And then the last thing is the handbook. Will the handbook be accessible online or
Absolutely.
for like all the rules, regulations and stuff? Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Voisin?
So when you say assessments are going to be done on site, what site location we're looking at? Or is that not determined yet?
Not
So
really,
the initial proposal was going to be on the Caitlin's campus where Tech Action Clinic vacated
Okay.
the building. That was the initial proposal. So I think there's some other discussions in place, but
Okay, that's
that was
fair.
the intent.
That's fair. So they'll be doing the work at home. They'll still be tied to their high schools. They'll be able to do any extracurricular with those high schools,
Correct.
band as well, or?
Yes.
Okay. Their scores are also going to be tied to their schools.
To the high
Okay.
school.
So, okay.
So everybody has a vested interest.
Yeah.
Those schools are gonna want to make sure that the
Those kids
counselors
are-
are setting up the right schedules for these kids and following them along, and they're gonna make sure that Ms. Callaway is watching very closely. Failure is not gonna be an option. I mean, you have to stay in line on the pacing that was set for you. And the kids are gonna be helping to set their own goals. You know, how far do you think you can go? When do you think you can finish this? And absolutely, they can move ahead.
Right.
If they finish courses early, they can move ahead. They just have to finish a course before the end of the year. They can't go into the summer. So we have to make sure that if they start something, they can finish it.
And if I can add this, part of the teacher's responsibility is to track their progress daily. So the program can show when the student logs on, how long the student is on the program, how much idle time. So the teacher will be responsible for not only communicating with the student, but also the parent, keeping abreast of the progress or lack thereof progress of their child. So the assessment, it comes whenever it's a unit test or a chapter test or a DCA, any type of assessment, she's gonna act as a proctor. So she's gonna make sure that the integrity is in place by having them come in first to take care of that.
So what about transportation? Are we providing transportation, or they're going to have to?
We're not providing
Not, okay.
transportation,
So
this
first,
year.
I just opened to that page, because I was gonna say, they are gonna be allowed to do any activity that they would like to do. They have to provide their own transportation, and when they are on campus, they must be wearing a school uniform. They do not, believe it or not, we had people who, when we went to virtual, wanted to know if, when they were doing Zoom calls, they had to be in school uniforms, and we told them no, that didn't need to be. They don't have to ever wear school uniforms when they're at home, but when they come on campus, they do.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just have one final note, and, in all of my years of education, I've seen K-12 start programs that before college and universities did. A good example of that is the technology. We had technology in our classrooms, and our students were learning through technology before they were in college. Now, this is a program that universities do all the time. In fact, it's very popular at Nichols for students to take an online class rather than an on-campus class. Even those that attend on campus take a lot of online classes. So I see this as being sort of a training ground for these young students of how to work in a virtual situation. I mean, I think they're going to be ahead of the game by the time they get to college, where some of these other students that are just in classrooms don't know how to manage their time and, do a virtual learning experience. So I think it's awesome that we're doing this, and I'm hoping that this grows beyond the 30 students eventually, because I can see where it's needed. Any other comments from anybody?
I just
Yeah.
say one, and I think what you said at the end, Ms. Benoit, is kind of what we hope as well, is that we start at 30 and grow as more kids become interested or need this choice. This is our response to choice. It really is, or a response to choice. So I want to commend Sandra and Daryl and Tricia and staff. This wasn't like put together last week, right? We've actually planned a lot of it this summer, and it's a significant part of our strategic plan. It's embedded in our plan, and we're putting it forth now for next year. So thank you all, guys. Appreciate
Thank y'all
you.
so much.
Like Chris is not here.
The next item is a consideration of approval for the interagency agreement between Terrebonne Parish School District and Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government on behalf of its Head Start program. Ms. Pelican?
As we've done in the past, this is just an interagency agreement that we're reviewing with Head Start. I've got Ms. Diane Powell, who's with Head Start for Terrebonne Parish. If you have any questions, we'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you. I'm sure one of our committee members has a comment.
Hey, she gave me the peace sign, I'm good.
Okay, Ms.
It's a
Powell,
great
would you like to
program.
tell us? I mean, we know about your program, but any other comments that you'd like to make?
Thank you for letting me be here. Good evening. Mr. Dehart, you don't have anything to ask me? Tell
No,
me?
ma'am. I ask you the same
I
thing
look
every
forward-
year, and
yes,
you're
sir,
doing the
you
best
do.
you can, and I understand
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity to partner with you all. Mr. Pellegrin has been very helpful this year. I actually was able to add a disabilities, what I call a disability specialist, to help with the connection with the school system. So I'm hoping that that will help us with better outcomes as well. So it's been a great year. We didn't serve as many children as we normally do. I still don't have all my classrooms open, but I will in the fall. Everything's slated now so that I'll have my 10 classrooms by October. So, but thank you for the opportunity. I also want you to know that I won't be back on the 4th if that's the next meeting, because I will be helping my daughter move. So ask me now.
No, I'm good. Hey, you answer the same thing every year. You're
Yes,
gonna
sir.
try, and as enrollment goes,
Yeah.
I just like to see both sides of the
Well,
parish
all the
get
kids are
some
our
help.
kids.
Yes, ma'am, I know.
So, it makes it easy when we all
Yes, ma'am.
pull together. So,
I just always try to include the whole parish
Yes,
as
sir.
much as I can, and that's why I keep beating up on you every year.
yes, sir. Right.
But
Thank you.
y'all doing a great job.
Thank
It
you,
is a
sir.
great program.
Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Ms. Powell. So I need to say that the committee recommends that the board approve and accept as presented the interagency agreement between Terrebonne Parish School District and Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government on behalf of the Head Start program for the 24-25 school year, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining
So moved.
thereto.
Yes,
Moved by
ma'am.
Mr. Dehart, second by Mr. Harding. Any public comment? Mr.
No, ma'am, I'm
Dehart,
happy to
Mr.
make that
Harding?
motion.
Any board members? Yes.
Ms. Powell, we spoke before the meeting, and I
Yes,
just
sir.
want to reiterate, at least as far as my stance on the board, this is a partnership, and we would like to support you guys in any way we can. And as I
Well, your
mentioned.
offer of money is awesome.
Well,
Thank you.
I've noticed over the last couple of years that there's been a vacant position with the parish, with Terrebonne Parish Consolidated
Yes, sir.
Government for a Head Start teacher. And then when I look at it, I see the pay is not even close to what we're paying our entry-level teachers.
Right.
So I just want to try to encourage them, and I will send a letter to them to try to encourage them to maybe reevaluate that pay scale and see if we can get some more qualified people in those positions, because it's going to affect us in the long run.
That's correct.
And this is our community, and I think, you know, you get what you pay for, and I think it's time for them to step it up too. They have the resources, they have the opportunity to do that, and they could probably get you fully staffed if they did. So I'm definitely gonna,
Well, the other part that's very difficult is the lead teacher position within Head Start requires at least a 2-year degree. And I don't know where everybody went, probably the school board or Lafourche Parish Head Start. They snaked my people. But anyway, it's been very difficult since COVID and the storm as far as turnover. I don't know if you all have experienced the same thing with staff, but I appreciate the offer of support. Because you're right, it starts somewhere and we have to build that foundation. It also includes all the support staff, everybody that's helping these kids along. So I appreciate that.
thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barr.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
appreciate your dedication to Head
Oh, you're
Start.
very kind. Thank you.
Thank you. Any
Good night.
objections? Oh, I'm sorry, did you have another
No,
comment?
good night. I'm
Okay.
trying to leave.
Any objections by the committee members? A hearing none, so approved. Matter number 6, this is our departmental messages in a minute, and we'll start off with Ms. LaRose and school visits.
Okay, at one of our previous meetings, we talked about what our instructional staff was doing daily, visiting schools, and we were keeping track of that. And so as we approach the end of the school year, I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit data on where we are with that. And so as of today, since we came back from the Christmas holidays in January, we have done 687 school visits, instructional staff and curriculum specialists. That does not include CWA director and supervisor or HR director and supervisor. So they're in schools all the time, but this is just instructional staff. So that equates to about 57.25 on average that each of us has done since January. So you're looking at about 14 visits to schools from each person on average. We know that, you know, it goes both ways, but just wanted to let you know that we are in the schools. We are out there seeing what needs to be done, and you know, you can't go and make changes, and you can't better things unless you're in there hands-on. And so that's one of our core beliefs. And 687 visits kind of indicates that we've been in and out of those schools pretty much every day.
Thank
So
you.
just wanted to give you that
We appreciate
update.
that level of monitoring, too. That's
Yes.
great. Yes, Mr. DeHart?
Just one question, and I'm not on the negative side.
Okay.
I'm saying this, visited that many times, y'all saw things that y'all were concerned about, right?
Not every time,
No,
but
no,
we're
no,
in
sometimes.
classrooms, yes.
And
Yes.
all I'm saying is that way, everybody knows, everybody's looking, everybody's gonna help each other. That's why I'm meaning that.
Yes. You have to go with a purpose. If you're just walking in and saying, hey, how you
Well,
doing, and you're leaving, then that's a problem. But yes, you are correct.
Right, if you don't say, oh, we can do this a little better, I think, I guess nothing's gonna ever change. That's my point.
Absolutely.
And look, I know everybody's working hard, but each student learns different. I'm still stuck on that comment. And you gotta learn how to get and reach that child.
Right.
And I don't like to say it, but no child left behind. I don't want to never leave a child behind.
Right.
Never. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, yes, Mr. Coachman.
I think it's fantastic that you're there, because like you said, you have no idea what's going on unless you're a part of what's going on. I feel like our school district is exceptional. I feel like we do a really good job. What would you say is some of the fruit of the visits that you make? If you could maybe share a little bit of that.
Absolutely. One, we are seeing now a much better quality of teaching to individuals. In the past, We did not see a whole lot of small group instruction in our middle schools and even high schools. We didn't see a whole lot of interventions. That has been a push last year and this year. And I will tell you, we went today to 14 of the schools to give out banners for Achieve 3000, the top 10 performing schools with Achieve, which is one of our reading programs. And then 4 of them that had exceptional quality in a certain area. And we went to 4 of our junior highs and middle schools, which was unheard of before. And I attribute that to teachers looking at data and using their knowledge and their expertise to give kids what they need instead of teaching whole group all day. We have interventions built into our school day, and that time is specifically spent on what do you need, and putting the kids into groups and giving them that during the day. And so that is one thing that we have seen actually taking place. And although we've asked for it in the past and told the teachers they needed to do it, now our administrators are looking for it, they're demanding it, and then we are overseeing that too, offering training, offering help to the people who need it. The other thing that we have seen is during the PLCs, which are professional learning community meetings that are taking place in schools, we've given principals the autonomy to do them as needed and to make sure that they're differentiated for teachers, because teachers have different needs just like kids do. So we're seeing that a lot going on when we're in the schools, that they're meeting with small groups of people to make sure that they're targeting what each teacher needs in order to bring that back into the classrooms. One of the other big things that we're seeing is that children are using the technology that we have provided, but they're not just on it. They're using their smart boards, but it's not like a glorified screen that the kids are just looking at something. The kids are up and down, and they're actually using that equipment. The Chromebooks are being used. But one of the things that we were concerned about was an overuse of Chromebooks. You don't want kids sitting looking at technology all day. And that's one of the things that we've seen, a very happy medium of them using it, preparing kids for assessments on the Chromebooks, but also still doing paper and pencil and fun things throughout the day instead of having them just sitting at a computer. So that's just a few of the highlights. We could go into many things. Just Mr. Ford could tell you how excited we were today at the SEC graduation, and Mr. Angeron, what a blessing to have that program. And for so many people, they never get to go and see that. If you're teaching in another school or you're the principal in another school, you don't even know what's going on. And it is a little piece of heaven right here in Terrebonne Parish. And so those are the kinds of things that we're doing. And you know what? If all it is going into schools and patting kids on the back and saying, great job, I like the way you are walking in line, or I love the way that you're going to the cafeteria so quietly, great job having your shirts tucked in, and patting principals on the back and saying thank you for doing an awards program this week and allowing parents and grandparents to see the fruits of what has happened here in our district. So it's just being out and about in the community, meeting people, and that's in addition to the academics. And I know we're here for kids to grow academically, but by golly, the human side of teachers and children is just as important. So.
Well, I really appreciate that. I appreciate that attitude of being uplifting and coming alongside, as opposed to looking over somebody's shoulder. And from what you described, it definitely, that uplifting, that, partnering with attitude is obviously paying off quite well.
Yes.
Like you said. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
We did change, and that's why we started tracking in January. We used to go in with our walkthrough documents. Remember those lovely documents? And you had to look for what they were doing, and you had to find all the wows and then the wonders. Well, nobody focuses on wows. they all, when you leave, all they do is look at, well, wait, I thought I did this, or why wasn't this adequate or whatnot. So we quit walking in with a computer in our hands and sitting in the back of a classroom typing on a form. And we're going in, we're walking around. You can get more information looking at what's hanging on bulletin boards and looking at student work and bending down next to a child and saying, tell me what you're working on. What was your objective today? You can learn a whole lot more and then have positive conversations and give suggestions to administrators as you see it.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Crowdis?
So, Ms. LaRose, what I would like to say is, you know, I haven't been on the board very long, but in the 14, 15, 16 months or so that I have been on the board, I've gotten to know you and a few other of the staff members in the school district. And you may not hear this very often, but I would like to say it loud and clear, you know, from this chair right here, is that I believe, and Mr. Langeron, this goes for you as well, I believe Terrebonne Parish School District is in very strong hands. And just wanted to acknowledge that.
Appreciate that.
And tell you that I appreciate everything that I've learned from you and others on the staff as well.
That means a lot.
Very,
Thank you.
very, very strong work, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks. They work very, very tirelessly. And we'll see y'all a whole lot the next 2 weeks. Every
you
night,
will.
right?
Thank you, Ms.
Any other
LaRose.
questions?
We're
Okay,
good.
thank you.
Thanks. Next is a report on our Skills USA National Signing Day. Mr. Dillard. It's just you and Ms. LaRose today. That's it.
It's our turn.
That's right.
Good afternoon again. On May 9th was Skills USA National Signing Day. So we had 21 seniors that attend Lewis Miller TCT that participated in National Signing Day. National Signing Day is similar to a student getting an academic scholarship to go to LSU or an athlete getting a scholarship to go to LSU. But this is on the career side. So these students at TCT on May 9th, they conducted a small ceremony at the school. Potential employers were invited, parents were invited, post-secondary institutions were invited, Fletcher was there, among others. 5 of the students out of the 21 committed to go to the military on this day. Had a little ceremony, a signing, take pictures, everybody happy, right? Also, we had 7 students that decided that they were going to further their technical education by committing to Fletcher. They committed in the departments of welding, nursing, and even one of them, young lady, was going to the lineman program. So they all made that commitment as well. 9 of the other 9 students chose to commit to a particular local employer. They have committed to go to work immediately after graduation with these employers such as Target Temp, Kentworth, Louisiana, Terrebonne Ford, Terrebonne General Health System, Andrews and Sons, Louisiana Cat, and Diesel. So these young men and young women all have jobs waiting for them now, or they have another level of their schooling waiting for them. And some are going to the military first and then going to work on jobs. So we're very proud of the students at TCT and the staff at TCT and all of the partner industries that we have. In fact, one of those employers hired 4 kids to start working in the automotive service department this summer. So we're very proud of that, and we're hoping that we can increase those numbers and opportunities every year.
That's awesome. Any questions? Okay. Oh, yes, you'd like to come.
Yeah, I think that's a great report, and and I think it's obvious, but they're going there because of the credential that they earn in the classes they took that align to that job. It's not a random job. It's very specific to what they were doing at TCT that landed them a job. So that says a lot for the teachers at TCT, preparing them to walk right into a job at Terrebonne Ford, making really good salaries at young ages. So good report, Darryl. Thank you.
One question, Darryl. Only 21, I mean, didn't we have more than that attending TCT?
We have more students attending. I don't know how many seniors took advantage of those opportunities.
Okay, so there would have been more seniors take, but they didn't do it. They
Correct.
didn't want to commit to anything.
Correct. That is
Gotcha.
correct.
Gotcha, okay. Yes, Mr. DeHart.
I'm just gonna make a positive comment. Mr. Dillard was there. Skills USA competition, for the state was there. And our school students did very well, first, second, and third places in many categories. And everybody's watching that, and some of them were first-year students, and some of them were second-year students. So the program is really flourishing, and kids that decided at this time, I don't want to go to college, but maybe later, and that's what Mr. Dillard was saying. I had a chance to witness that, and like I say, the competition was really, really good this year. Thank you.
Mr. Ford?
To kind of put things that Roger Dale said in context, although we have a pretty robust program here, we're one of the smallest programs that competes at Skills USA. So that needs to be known as well, because we do have students that are performing exceptionally with the smallest program of those schools that are competing. And they have some schools, one on North Shore, that it's no transition from high school to college, because they are such a big school that they have high school students and post-secondary on the same campus because of the funding and how much stuff they have there. So the fact that our students are competing with them and the others that are at these competitions says a lot. So, thank you.
Okay. I think that's it. Thank you, Mr. Dillard. Okay.
And we did better.
I think this concludes our report. We're adjourned.